Let me just find my notes. I have notes. Warren, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're busy, and I was like, is Warren going to make it? I hope he does. And you did. So thank you so much.
It took a few tries though, right?
It did,
I wasn't
yes.
I
You were
wasn't
on a
the best at
boat.
this. I was on a boat
You were
getting
on a boat the
drunk.
one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep trying. It's worth it. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you. I know you've got a lot going on. We're gonna get into that. But just to introduce you, you're the owner of ATK, a very well-known South African organization. Also an in-person gaming studio, gaming center, esports center in Cape Town. I have had the pleasure of being there myself. Lovely place, good vibes. Yeah, and you're also a Mercedes. I'm going to ask you more about that just now because I don't actually know the whole deal, but Mercedes affiliate ambassador. Yeah, and you're well known in the South African gaming esports community. You've been around for quite a while. Yeah, am I missing anything?
I have been around for quite a while because I'm old. Uh,
Not high maintenance.
but yeah, look, it feels like it's been quite long. It's we're going into our sixth
Mhm.
year now, so I mean that's in esports terms, I guess, quite long.
So, how did ATK come about originally?
Okay, that's a long story. So the stories are best told from the beginning, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been a gamer for 100,000 years. That's probably what it feels like to people when I tell them I started gaming in 1987. Actually, before
Yeah.
that, I actually wrote my first game in 1987. So as a coding thing I did when I was young. And I've kind of been as you do, you kind of get stuck into it, and when you're pulled into the world of gaming and the uh, the relaxation or the activity that is gaming, you're kind of in it forever, I suppose. So
Mm-hmm.
I game for many years. I guess when you become a professional in the industries that I've been in, and I've been in a few, sometimes you lose track of it. But let's say 2007, I kind of got back into it again, started paying attention to what was happening in gaming in the world. At that time, I owned an IT company. We were doing software development, and sold my business, moved to Cape Town. I just had my first child. Well, I was part of the process. I didn't have it myself, but the in I guess I started paying more attention to things in 2007. I became kind of more interested in the investment side of gaming, given that I was in finance for a while, looking at where money was flowing and where values in companies were being derived. And there was this company called Tencent doing things, which is owned partially by a South African company. So that was interesting. And just looking at where we were compared to everybody else, and as in us, as in South Africans, and how far behind we were compared to everybody else was interesting to me. So it's like, okay, why? I mean, we've shown it. Even though we, have a relatively small pool of people, there's a hell of a lot of talent, and you look at what the talent has done, and it's effectively not that much, and it wasn't at that point at least. So we thought, okay, well, let me try this out. Let me get together some people who are keen on investing. We put some of my own money in, and let's try. So we started with ATK Shack, which was Attack Shack. It rhymed. The agency we were using came up with this one of the 100 names that we came up with was Attack Shack, and it became more popular than we thought. We just had 16 machines in there, and 2 simulators, and just let's see if we can solve this problem by putting down some infrastructure. So you got fiber into the place, fast fiber. You've got high spec machines, the highest spec you could buy at the time. You've got a place to just arrive and play. You don't have to LAN, you don't have to carry your machine and get set up. and then let's put on more tournaments, because at that point, all I could see was like maybe 2 big tournaments a year. That's not enough incentive to dedicate your time as a professional esports person, or become a big superstar. So we were trying to solve that by like, let's throw one once a month. Let's see what happens. And when the queues are out the door and all the rest of it, and you just get more and more requests and more opportunity coming to you in the space, you go, all right, well, let's explore that. Initially we couldn't rent any space. Nobody wanted to rent us space because they thought we were setting up a gambling studio, or slot machines, or they didn't understand. You said gaming, and they were kind of glossy look at you, like Pac-Man pinball machines or something like that. So we didn't have much success. When we found a place, we had to pay everything up front, and all of our rent for the entire period of the lease we had to pay up front. When they saw the queues coming out the door, then things become a bit easier than that. Start to understand it. So, and it's evolved. Obviously, it's become a multifaceted business now. So that is the story of the start.
Interesting. There's lots there that I didn't know. Actually, I didn't know that you were, involved in Tencent, or Tencent is obviously a massive company. I didn't know Tencent was partially owned by a South African company. So that's interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. Okay, and ATK has gotten a lot busier now again. I've noticed you're holding socials. What is the thinking behind the socials? The increased frequency of the socials and events happening at ATK.
Look, we used to do them. It was something that we wanted to help grow the community. I think a lot of people spend their time behind a desk or behind a persona, and they hang out with their little crew, but they don't get to meet other people, at least not face to face. We used to do them in 2019. 2018 is when we opened. December 2018 is when we opened here. In 2019 we did a bunch, and they were cool. In early 2020 we did as well, but then of course COVID came along. It's easy to forget how little we could actually do in those days, and it wasn't actually that long ago. It was 4 years ago that COVID started, but we could only really start getting out and about legally like a year and a half ago, whatever it was, where we could open our doors. And that was the thing that was missing, is like, getting to know people, getting to see that gaming and esports are different, and the fact that you enjoy gaming, and it doesn't necessarily define you. People have a stigma, and there's a preconceived notion of what a gamer is. It's when I first, I speak to the people my age, and I say, oh, we're getting all the gamers together, and we're going to put some music on, and open up the bar. They think I'm mad. They think they don't want to go out. The gamers don't go out. They sit at home, and and the popularity of an event like that means that you should throw more. And as you said, they've been more frequent, which I'm happy about. We've obviously got a space that is tailored for that, so you can do it at any time, drop of a hat. So off you go.
Yeah, there's definitely a need for it, and I feel like gamers in particular are quite good at showing up. I don't know if you sort of feel the same way. In my experience hosting events, it's been like people come, like gamers will come, which is really cool. It's going to happen.
Absolutely. Look, it means there's a need for it, right? It means there's a demand. It means that it's something that they enjoy, and they are sociable humans. They're sociable people, and they can get to go out, and as much as you turn on all the machines and they can game, they actually just want to get to know each other and hang out. So
yeah, exactly.
Indeed, they do show up.
Yeah. So you are known to be affiliated with Mercedes-Benz. Firstly, is it Mercedes or Mercedes? I think I've asked this before.
Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yes.
That's the first thing they taught me, is that I'm doing it wrong. Mercedes-Benz.
Yes.
There's obviously Mercedes AMG. That's kind of on the motorsport side, but Mercedes-Benz is who we're with. Um, it's been a good long relationship. You know, we helped them out with a competition at the very first Comic-Con that we were attending. So it was the second Comic-Con that took place. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do something big, and we helped them out. And we ran a very successful event where we gave away a car, um, basically for a hot lap. And you know, it
Sure.
was one of those things that, you know, they were mandated to do. It's Mercedes-Benz wants to talk to the youth. They are involved in esports. They own SK Gaming. They have a long-term partnership with Riot. So they were looking for a partner at that point, somebody to help them along the process. I mean, it's a pretty daunting thing to get involved in a new sport or a new um, angle of entertainment or a new group of people. And esports is unique. It's not like it's, you know, you got soccer or football, whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
where you have the game and you just focus on that game and there's all the teams around it. Esports is huge. There's League of Legends,
Mm-hmm.
there's Counter-Strike, there's 5 different titles in sim racing, there's Call of Duty, there's, you know, it's massive. And how do you know who you can talk to, and how do you engage with that community in an authentic manner? So that's what they were looking for us to do. It took years worth of back and forth. I really am not kidding when I say I did the same presentation every month for a year. Um, every single month I did the same presentation. I'd fly up to Johannesburg and I'd sit with the executives and I'd sit with the marketing team and we'd go through. And it's been we're going into our 4th year now with Mercedes-Benz. It's been a good ride. You know, we've enjoyed working with a big company. Obviously, a big
Mm-hmm.
company comes with its challenges, and
Mm-hmm.
they're you know, they're a very dynamic team, that Mercedes-Benz, and they are constantly trying to do better, do better events, go bigger. You know, they're I believe the one marketing director referred to them as an obnoxious crowd that likes to ruffle feathers and do things like that, which was a very surprising statement to come from you know, a Mercedes-Benz, which is classy and stylish. And then you get into an
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
AMG and it makes big banging noises and active exhausts and spinning wheels and drift mode. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great brand. I mean, they've changed a lot from, you know, the old days of Mercedes-Benz was, you know, they were old people's cars. It's a very different situation now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely an admirable brand in terms of their marketing. You know, you do associate Mercedes-Benz with class and style, and I imagine they're very careful with how they market. There must be a lot of red tape around
Exactly.
how you execute things with them.
I can tell you now, we've done full photo shoots that have not been
Mm-hmm.
used for 3 years. It goes through a process. We've done
Yeah.
video content and photo shoots and all the rest of it. Yeah, obviously, it's also down to us to understand what will work and what won't, and what will get passed. And that's a relationship that you build, and something you learn over the period. And it's a great relationship to have. You know, they're a great bunch of
Mm-hmm.
people, like I said. And I
Mm-hmm.
really do mean that. You know, uh, they're and all, at all times stylish, but really happy to innovate. And now, you know, they give you a bit more leeway as you kind of produce the right goods, I suppose.
Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
start to
we've
like trust you.
absolutely. So it's
um,
been good.
I don't know if I can say this, but I can cut it out if I can't. But I just find it so ironic that the marketing director's name is Miles.
Yep.
Like
Well,
how?
he's the head. He's GM of marketing. He's kind of the main guy that he reports
Okay,
into the
yeah.
marketing director. I mean, that guy's crazy. He's like that's so not Mercedes Benz ish when you look at him and when you meet him.
Mhm.
Obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover, but I mean, the guy's got
Mhm.
like crazy hair, and he's got the cool like wispy silver bits, and he's just got 30 rings on his hands and just full of tattoos. And you go to a Mercedes
Yeah.
Benz event and you think, oh, this is going to be a bit stiff and boring. And Miles jumps onto the
Yeah.
stage with a mic and starts singing. You're like, hey, I didn't expect that. So yeah,
I've yet to experience that. Miles
invite you.
singing.
Yeah, I'll invite you. It's a thing. And then he expects you to sing with him afterwards, which is always a fun time. So, yeah.
I think the second last time I was in Cape Town for Girl Gamer, I misnamed your series, the series of your Mercedes, and you were
Yeah, you know.
horrified. Do you remember
Uh,
that?
I try to forget it.
what did
Um,
what what did I call it? I don't remember, but you were just
you
like,
asked me if it was
wow,
a C class, and I was like, Jesus.
my bad.
Uh, it happens. It happens. Not
Yeah,
often,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. Look,
Um,
it's
mm,
we'll forgive you. We'll forgive
thank
you, but
you,
this
thank you.
once.
I shouldn't have brought it up. What is
They say
your
you
what
buy
is
the you,
your
that you they say you get vehicles to impress the ladies. You don't. You get vehicles to
yeah,
impress the men. The ladies,
yeah,
they like a
absolutely.
pretty car. Very nice.
Yeah,
For the most part.
very nice
Don't
and cool.
don't cancel me for saying that, please.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think I like cars, but obviously I don't know that much about them if I misnamed your car series.
Well, you are forgiven.
So thank you. So what about your car? You call your car thirsty boy.
Thirsty boy. He is very thirsty.
Yeah, yeah.
He has a very big engine.
Mhm.
And he, there's a price to pay for going really quickly, I suppose.
Mhm.
Um, so yes, 2,500 rand the last time I checked to fill him up. 400
Sheesh.
kilometers. That's how far you can get on it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
not very far. Thankfully, I live very
Yeah.
close, so that it's fine.
Mhm.
So it's not a
Mhm.
big deal.
Mhm.
Thirsty Boy has a big brother as well, which is a same engine in a big vehicle. Yeah, and that is another piece of machinery. Unto it.
She's
Did
fine.
you kick your guitar? I heard the unmistakable sound of a guitar string.
No, I think it was the window.
Oh, okay, it sounded like a guitar. Thought you were
Yeah,
going to
I heard
strum me a
that.
tune or something.
No, no, I think I should learn
Oh,
though. I think I should learn. I'm looking for a guitarist here so that I can sing, do some
are you a
singing, you
singer?
know? Yes.
Like professionally?
No, not professionally, just for fun.
You like
Yeah.
performing?
I do. Yeah, I find it quite exciting, like exhilarating. Yeah, I've like recorded a couple of songs, but I never like pushed it, you know?
Okay. We
Yeah.
had a chap here that worked here, and unbeknownst to us, he had a Instagram account of him doing
Mhm.
covers of songs where he would just sing his little heart out, and he was so proud of it when we found out. We didn't. He never told us, but somehow we found it, and
Aw.
yeah, he was really into it.
Aw.
And
Is he
if that's
good?
your thing, that yes, better than me.
Okay. 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 Um, okay, so I wanted to ask you, you have quite a few projects that you work in. You've been in finance, you've been in tech, you've obviously got skills that go quite far back that you've utilized in your work. You've got ATK. I know that you're in property as well, if I can share that. How do you make your money?
Me or ATK, because those are two different.
I'm asking from a business perspective, like asking Warren, this person who the community knows as a good business person. You seem to be quite successful, and yeah, I think it like seems kind of maybe blunt to ask, but I'm interested in how you approach business and how you think of getting a return on your interests.
Right. So obviously, I had a professional career in the past,
Mm,
where you have a constant flow of income that you can mostly rely on. So I've had businesses where we've that I've started and I've paid myself and I've paid people, and that's always a daunting task. Is it goes through ups and downs. I
mm-hmm.
literally had a business that was operational when two planes flew into buildings in New York, uh, and that was the beginning of many kind of life lessons or business lessons where
Mhm.
you become weathered to setting yourself up for periods of drought. Let's call it politely. Um,
Mhm.
so I've had my own successes in various businesses. Like you said, I was in finance, I was in tech. I have been, I've got, I guess, more experience. I've been doing business for longer than most of the people that are going to watch this segment, right? Um,
Mhm.
so I think what a lot of it comes down to is planning and willing to take risks, calculated risk. There's that old saying, my risk was calculated, but I'm fucking terrible at maths. That has happened to me a few times, and obviously you take the risk with some calculation, with some consideration. But ATK, for example, was a big risk. I mean, it was a massive amount of money we put into this business. I am not alone. I have an investor that is alongside me, and we take decisions as carefully as we can. But sometimes it's like, well, sounds like a good idea. Let's just do it.
Mhm.
Like, kind of, you can plan till the cars come home, but sometimes you just need to jump in and do it. And I think that is the thing, is that people, as much as they see opportunity, they doubt themselves. You have to back yourself. You have to back your ability to deliver. And we go through each phase quite carefully within ATK, for example. Uh, uh, we look at having a smooth approach to our income streams. So you look at where we're involved in a bricks and mortar business where people can come in and play, and that's kind of like an hourly thing. It's effectively a glorified internet cafe. um,
Mhm.
we and that kind of pays some bills. That pays that that chips away. It's a very smooth, steady income that you get. We have the other element, which is events. You've been to one of our events or a couple of our events where, those are put together. It's a spectacle. It's camera crews, and it's to showcase um, more than just our abilities within the country, but the misconceptions that you have around Africa and South Africa. And I'm particularly
Mhm.
passionate about Cape Town. I've traveled a lot, and you realize what a special place Cape Town is when you leave. Um,
Yeah.
so we have multiple facets to the business where, for example, we may own an event and we run it as our own. And one of my strengths is that I talk well to other business people, to other people within businesses. So I understand what it is that they're looking for. I don't want to regurgitate my own story the whole time and give them an unconsidered approach to getting involved in esports, it's or gaming for that matter,
Mhm.
and understanding what it is that they need and what it is that I can deliver them. And you spend a lot of time saying no. That's always a lesson. But you also spend a lot of time saying yes to things and holding your breath and going for it. And
Mhm.
we've done that. I mean, through COVID, we had a rough time in the one side of the business, but the other side propped it up very nicely. So it's about creating that buffer for yourself, that you're able to withstand it. And obviously, it's easier said than done. We all slept
Mhm.
very little. I looked a lot younger than this when I started. But yeah, it's been a fun ride. So in business, again, procrastination is the thing and the issue that a lot of people come up against when trying to run something and trying to start something from scratch. It is bloody difficult, of course,
Mm. Mm.
and believing in yourself.
Procrastination, do you mean having ideas, not executing them, or spending too much time planning, or
The
both?
kind of the outcome is the same, right? You
Mm.
come up with ideas and you think about the ideas, but you can talk yourself out of the idea quite quickly.
Mm.
And also, I've worked with people in the professional environment where they overthink it. They overthink
Mm.
what they need to do to make something happen. And the trick is finding the balance to say, all right, the Pareto principle, I can get, with 20% of the effort, I can get 80% of it done. And doing it
Mhm.
differently. I mean, I hate redoing what other people have done. I like to do it my own way, with my own finesse on it, if you like. where I want it to be an experience that I would enjoy. I look at it with a certain eye. So, and that's my flavor. And if you don't like it, no problem. But
Mhm.
it's one of those things where you can research things till the cows come home. You still haven't done anything by the end of it. So
Mhm.
it's a combination of the two.
And what was your upbringing like? What was where did you grow up? What was the vibe?
The vibe. Okay, well, I grew up in the 80s, so that was a long time ago.
Mhm.
I mean, I grew up in apartheid 80s.
Mm.
Chinese people were considered black. We are classified as fully BEE these days. So, it was an interesting time, obviously. We weren't exactly the richest family around. We weren't allowed to live in certain areas. So I grew up on the Cape Flats. Um, the I remember having to go to interviews at schools. They wouldn't allow us Chinese people into certain schools unless you had an okay from the principal and an okay from the parents to say that it was okay that you were allowed in the schools with the white kids, which was an interesting
Mm.
thing. I mean, it was just what we dealt with, just what we knew of,
Mm.
and kind of a normal thing back in the day. And we had no internet, which was kind of cool in its own way. I skateboarded a lot.
Yes.
When it was raining outside, I'd program and play whatever video games so I could get on my hands onto. I
Mhm.
actually have the computer that I learned to program on here. It's in the room next door, actually.
No ways.
Um, so my dad bought that for me in 1987, like I said, and
Yeah.
gave me a big fat book. And it was raining outside, and he said, "Well, off you go." And I taught myself, and that was what it was like. I wasn't particularly good at sports. I was a skinny little Chinese computer programmer, um, which didn't really fit in with the school I was in. So it was an interesting time, I suppose.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. It is a special kind of boredom having no internet
Yeah.
and no quick way to get around, and no television that to speak of. There was like
Yeah.
3 channels back in the day, and one of them was in Afrikaans. So yeah, it was a weird old time, but we made the most of it.
Yeah. I remember the no internet TV. I lived in Zim for 5 years as a young kid, and I think we had TV for like an hour in the afternoons.
Yeah,
Um, and the
fun
rest of the
times.
time it was just static. The TV was just static.
Oh, you'd watch the test signal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it comes
yeah,
on and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I don't know if it was called like Voltron. I want to say Voltron, this cartoon we used to watch, my brother and I.
yeah.
I don't know if it was called Voltron, but yeah, we also like for the rest of the day we like played with dung beetles and like rode the dog.
You're right. Yep.
And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Those poor
like
dogs.
walked around
Yeah. Yeah.
barefoot,
Get lost.
like
Like,
you just
yeah, the sun's down and your mom can't call you because there's no such thing as a cell phone. Well, back in my day,
yeah,
there
yeah,
wasn't.
you just have to know. Yeah, I think I only got a phone when I was like maybe 15-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just had to be home before it
They
got
only came
dark.
out when I was in matric. Just saying.
Really?
They
Are
only
you
became a thing.
Yeah, are you kind of it's funny, I was actually watching a YouTube video yesterday. Curtis Connor, he's like a 90s comedian. So he's almost 30. He was born in the 90s. And he loves his retro stuff, like his 90s tech and stuff. And he was trying to recreate today's tech with 90s tech. Um like what was that thing called? It's like a pager. It was kind of like the first cell
Yes.
phone, like a
Yeah. It would
pager.
only get a text and say, you have to call this person. It was getting an
Yeah.
SMS like on a little screen. And those were the fancy
And
ones. Sometimes you got one without the thing and it would just beep. And then it would
yeah,
like, oh, I
yeah.
have to call somebody. Or
There's
you'd call
something
in a number
happening.
and they'd leave a message on a voicemail and you were like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, shit,
And
that
you
was a
got
long
like
time ago.
those those like analog portable TVs as well, but it's like you have to have signal to watch TV, you know? It's
Yeah,
just crazy. And it kind of makes you think where everything today came from. Like it kind of makes you a little bit more appreciative of the technology that we use today.
absolutely.
Um, just the fact that we can touch our screen and it reacts is like crazy.
Well, you can carry it around with you, and you can be always entertained. Sometimes a bad thing,
Yeah.
actually. Sometimes
Yeah,
people need
yeah.
quiet.
That's
Yeah,
exactly. That's why you say kind of a blessing
absolutely.
to have grown up without internet, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd recommend an occasional break from all that stuff. It really
Mhm.
is. It takes a few days for you to
Yeah.
realize that there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of nonsense that comes at you. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's switching it off every now and again is a good idea.
Yeah. There's no way you can be like completely unaffected by it. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a particular place that I go to where there is no signal for anything. There is electricity and a pool, and you cannot see anybody around you. And if somebody needs to get a hold of you, tough luck. If
Mhm.
if we die, we die, kind of thing. So, and that's a pretty cool place to go. You just sit and
Mhm.
relax.
Mhm. That's nice. That's nice.
I'll send you a photo
Um
of it.
yeah, yeah, that'll be great. So you have I think you have 3 kids. Is that
I do.
right?
I do.
Yeah, 3 kids. 3 boys or 2 boys and a girl?
Three boys. Yeah, all
3
all
boys.
boys. Um, they are busy changing age now. This is the month where they all become aligned again. So, um, 17, 15, 13, or 13, 15,
Mhm.
17. So they're
Mhm.
getting on now. They're not small anymore. Um, the funny thing is, I mean, they all started off as gamers. They all, in ATK was a thing, and you're little, you game
Mhm.
your little heart out. And they're kind of fallen by the wayside on it. My oldest boy is very good at first-person shooters. He's insane.
Mhm.
He grew up with Fortnite and all those things. But my other guys, they're like, they play it every now and again. They all have gaming machines. They all have 240 hertz monitors. They all have like the best peripherals and headsets you could ever imagine, and they use them to watch YouTube and screw around. I guess it's a bit of a shame, but it's funny. The novelty kind of wears off, and they're just gamers. They just enjoy it occasionally. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, but yeah, we keep a good balance. Try to keep them outside doing sport. It feels like my whole life is sport these days. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's cool to have a balance. So yeah, I got 3 boys, 2 dogs, 3 cats. Yeah, it's a
Busy.
busy life. Yeah, it's
Busy
pretty cool.
house.
Exactly.
And are you and your wife quite strict on your kids? Like how do you, because I was going to ask the question, how do you, I assumed that they were, big into gaming, but not all of them. And I was going to ask how you sort of balance them, but I know that you're also into like health and fitness and stuff, so I knew that there would be that balance with them.
Yeah.
But how do you, like, how strict are you with them, and how do you sort of um what's the like parenting style?
Uh, Look, the fact of the matter is, I also play games, and I understand if you're in the game, you're not going to go tell them to get off the damn game if you're in the middle of a comp or
Yeah.
something like that.
You can't
So
pause
at
it.
least I understand that. Um, I encourage them to play games and enjoy games for what it is.
Mhm.
And I see it and they see it in the same way as going outside and kicking a ball around. Or they see uh, esports as the same as rugby and cricket and all those things. They watch it
Mhm.
equally. I'm not strict on it. They understand what they need to do. So I think I've been uh, fairly fairly flexible in my approach. If your homework's done, no problem. Nobody likes
Mhm.
to be dictated to. I'm particularly poor with being told what to do, and I think they are the same. But they're responsible boys, so they do what they need to. The marks are poor. They understand that that's not acceptable, and they keep going. Their sporting achievements are great. My eldest son has a dual scholarship for rugby and basketball, but he also plays on the esports team for in Counter-Strike for his school. So I mean, they have a good balance, and as long as you maintain your A aggregate, everybody's happy, as you were. I don't police it so much. I could, and I do tell them that I could, and they take it seriously. So yeah, I haven't had to lay down a beating for a long time, which is good.
Okay, for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also, they're
good.
now bigger than me, which is a problem.
Yeah. And you also you did CrossFit, I think, for a long time, and you run every day. I think someone else actually told me you did. I don't think you told me you did CrossFit. Somebody else mentioned that you did CrossFit, and you gave us all a lesson in squats once.
Oh yeah,
and that was quite challenging.
Yeah, the funny thing about CrossFit is that's how you know people have done CrossFit. They tell you. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously drummed it into this person so hard that they had to just get it in front of you before I did it
Yeah,
because it was
so
just so
surprising
annoying.
it wasn't you.
Look, I was a typical, I guess, finance guy that sat behind his desk, or programmer slash finance guy that sat behind his desk too much. I think I'd taken my kids somewhere, and somebody took a picture of me with my shirt off, and it wasn't the right shape that was in that photo that I was enjoying. So I joined a CrossFit gym, actually, that was down the road. And I used to love it. It was just such a great way to go about your fitness, and an ability to use your body. And the whole theory on it is that it will prepare you for various activities. Um, running is one of those things that they don't do so much in CrossFit. So I used to supplement it. I live, basically in Newlands Forest. I'm like in the trees, so I kind of have no excuse. The excuses are very easy to make, especially when it comes to doing your workouts, and keeping your body in tip top shape, or as tip top as you can get it. So yeah, I actually am a certified CrossFit trainer, if you can say that as well. So I did that. Unfortunately, I broke my neck a few years ago doing CrossFit of all things, but casual
my
CrossFit,
gosh.
when I was screwing around and being a fool, swinging upside down from gymnastics rings, and I slipped and landed on my head, and the rest is history. I haven't been able to get back to my old self again. I used to really enjoy doing triathlons, so I'm going to have a bash at doing another triathlon at the end of the year. So those are always fun, trying to get into wetsuits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's an important balance that you got to have, right? It's important to keep your body functioning. Everything's better when you're fitter. Everything's better, when you keep yourself in good nick as possible. And it doesn't take that much effort. I mean, people happily sit and play a game of Counter-Strike, which takes an hour easily, no problem. The workout that you can get in half an hour is insane. You would change your body shape if you put half an hour worth of intense effort into it. You would change all of that, and it doesn't have to start with anything more than just lying on the ground and getting up again, and that's called a burpee, right? And you do that a couple of times, your heart rate goes up, and as long as you do that a few times, you're good. And you got to start somewhere. It's down to excuses and procrastination. Those are the worst things that can ever happen to you.
Yeah. I also have that mentality of like half an hour a day is perfectly adequate.
You can get
If
a
you
lot
want to
done.
do more, great. If you want to do 15 minutes a day from nothing, that's also fine. Like from doing nothing.
When I have when I travel, I've got a workout that I do that takes 15 minutes. You are so wrecked after those 15 minutes. You don't know how, if you can't breathe, you can't talk, you can't think. And you
Please
sleep
send
better.
it to me.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you need to do. It's good for your mind. I encourage my players, at least when they're
Mm-hmm.
overseas, and you're stuck in a house, and we've put you there. The important bit is to keep moving, take a break from the PC. Just because you're there and taking it seriously doesn't mean spending 20 hours at your PC. You know,
Mm-hmm.
5 good hours is way better than 20 bad hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
keeping that balance, I was trying to encourage, and eating well and all the rest of it is obviously important. It's easy to sit at your desk and drink energy drinks and chips and all the rest of it. It's effectively you're poisoning yourself in some way if you're not keeping a good balance.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is definitely gamers are definitely more aware, and every gamer is different, right? But gamers are more aware in general of how health and fitness can benefit them in gaming or esports. Because as we established, there are two different things, but how they can benefit your skills or your skill level.
Yeah, absolutely. Your cognitive abilities and that ability to focus. If you're fitter, it's easier. I promise. There's no
Yeah,
questioning it. There have been studies, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work that
yeah.
out, right? It's just it it is day and night. Um,
Mhm.
what the difference is when you are fit, and especially if you're in esports. I've seen our guys play 5-6 hour games where you're playing a BO5 or whatever it is. It can go on for a long time. 7 hours, I think, was
Mhm.
my record that I remember, and I was like phoning Tion when he was still with us. It's like, get the guys some food. They're all sitting there. I can see they're not making the right decisions, but
Yeah.
yeah, it happened.
I don't know how people can play well for that long because I feel like obviously I'm a gamer and not an esports athlete, but I feel like my warm up is an hour, then I get good and I'm good for an hour and then I start to fall off. So I don't
Right.
know
And
how
well, that's the
how
impressive bit, right? That's
yeah.
if you appreciate the game and you appreciate what's happening in front of you, and you
Mhm.
understand what's going on, and you see that these guys are doing this for hours at a time, and
Mm.
still maintaining a level that in itself is impressive. And it's hard to try and explain that to anybody that's not in it. I'm fully with
Yeah.
you. An hour or two, and you're not the same animal that you were when you stepped in, right?
No.
It's different. It's uh, that's why I say you have to have that mental fitness to be able to push that,
Mhm. Yeah,
and to be able to get
absolutely.
through it.
Yeah. Um, what are you most proud of? Yeah, as you know, we said earlier, you've done a lot of stuff. You've done a lot of stuff. What are you most
Yeah.
proud of?
Look, I mean, the obvious ones are you're proud of your family and you're proud of where you've gotten to, and all the rest of it. I think from an achievement perspective, it's a weird story, but I've loved motorsport for my whole life, and it's about opportunities. So in 2020, we did an event where we had to find the top sim racing driver in South Africa to represent the country at the motorsport games. The motorsport games is the FIA motorsport games. It happens where it's the Olympics of motorsport, real cars, but they have now an esports element to it. So we went
Mhm.
about the process of finding the right person, and we ended up finding the right guy, but they cancelled the event because of COVID. And eventually, 2022 was his opportunity to go, and I was going along with to support. And the Motorsport South Africa guys had obviously gone through a qualifying process with a bunch of people, and they'd asked me if it would to help with the esports side. And out of the blue, I got a call to say, look, one of the rally guys can't make it to the event anymore. It's a team event, so they've now done some performance stuff. They've seen me on the go-kart track, and we shot some content for them. And they said, well, do I mind stepping in? And at first I thought it was a fucking joke because why on earth? Okay, but there had to be better people for it. But unfortunately, it was just so late notice. There just wasn't somebody who was already going who could get a visa and get over there. And actually, there was a bit of flack about it because people didn't understand that there already was a person doing this
Mm-hmm.
that couldn't make it, and I was asked to step in, which I did, of course. Um, and it is the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life is getting into a race car with it's 35 degrees outside. You got fire protective everything on you, and you put this helmet on, and it takes two people to strap you into the car to pull your things tight, and and yeah, 50 degrees in the car. You know all about it. And we ended up winning the Africa Cup. So we took the trophy for Africa.
No
Um,
ways.
we made it through to the final heats. So we knocked out a bunch. So as a team, I think we were top 8. And I set a relatively good time. So I think at one point I was set the 3rd best time for the men. So I mean, it was
Crazy.
standing up at the FI Motorsport Games with it. There was like you look at it and you go, I have no idea how I got onto the stage. I have no idea why I'm holding a trophy. I have no idea what this person with the big microphone and all the people watching is saying, but I'm going to enjoy it. And
That's
that is a
crazy.
proud moment. I mean, it's one of those things that's just surreal and insane. You meet, Formula One drivers that are there for the event, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my god. So yeah, I mean, you could talk about your businesses, but those businesses are ongoing. I haven't reached where I want to be in any
Mm-hmm.
of these things yet. So I would say that is definitely my personal proud
That's
moment.
so cool. I love that because it's like it's one of those stories you want to hear if I say to you like a year prior to that, would you imagine yourself in this situation? And you'd be like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Like
I,
just so cool.
yeah. I mean, my palms are sweaty thinking about that because it's the most. Like I kid you not, it is the most terrifying thing. I was
Mm,
clearly not qualified, experience-wise, at least, to get in there.
yeah.
And if you had asked me the week before, I would have told you you're mad. And and that's what my email said to the CEO of Motorsport South Africa. I said, "Are you sure that you want the? Are you being serious? Just tell me, level with
Yeah.
me. Like, when is Leon Schuster going to jump out of my cupboard?"
I
So
don't know if like people know who Leon Schuster is
I know
anymore.
I'm showing my age, Anna. Look him up.
um,
Look him up, young people.
yeah,
It's hilarious.
look him up.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I think moral of the story there is just like be prepared for anything, right? It's like do CrossFit,
Say yes.
work hard, say yes, say yes. That's a big
Yeah.
one. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Love
Be
that
a yes
story.
man. That is a winner. I mean, my preparation. I used to sit in all my meetings in one of the racing rigs here, and I
Mm,
just race while I'm in the meetings. I just raced every day. That's the only thing I could prepare myself for. It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
hell of a thing.
It's interesting that you say like be a yes man because I think the best opportunities I've gotten have come from me just being like, hell, yes, yes. You know,
Exactly.
I actually went through a phase where I was like, I'm just going to say yes to every opportunity, paid, unpaid. And yes, that's like a topic for, another topic. But I was just like, I'm going to do the things because that's how you meet people. That's how you achieve things. That's how you try new things, get uncomfortable. And it's the best attitude.
Yeah,
Like it's
I agree.
brought the
You
best
put yourself
things.
out there, right? It's
Yeah.
and the opportunities are everywhere. You have to. They don't land on you. You have to make yourself
Yeah.
available to take them. And as many as you've seen and many as you've taken, there are plenty more behind that. It's just insane. It actually
Exactly.
gets to the point where you're like, okay, I've got too many.
Yeah.
I've got yeah, more pies than fingers at this point. So it's a great way to be, right? It always keeps life
Yeah.
entertaining, and I
Yeah,
love a
yeah,
challenge.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. I love that. Um, do you have do you have any regrets? And I feel like you're the type of person to say no, like
I
don't regret
No,
anything.
absolutely, I don't. I mean, I have been in regretful situations. I've had situations where I could have done better, of course, but that's life. It's you. Your current situation is the sum of all of your decisions, and I I say yes to a lot of stuff, and I think I would regret saying no to a lot of stuff. So, and I've been there. You learn through your life and through your experiences, and I've been around a long time, and it's always something that you always uh, you kind of reflect on where you've been. You reflect on what you've done. Of course, I've made mistakes, like everybody, but definitely not. Do I regret anything? No, I wouldn't say at all. I'm very happy with the way things have turned out, and I always look to improve. I mean, you also can't hang on to things that have gone wrong in your life. I mean, that means you're just constantly looking backwards. Is again back to the same thing. There are opportunities in front of you everywhere. You opportunities to make it right as well. So it's definitely not high up on my list of things to sit and be regretful of any situation or anything that I've done or haven't done.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So this is like a twist on like what 3 things would you bring out of a fire?
Okay.
But I want to. I don't want it to be sort of material things, and I think sort of like family is the obvious thing, like family and what are the other obvious things? I'm trying to think. Family and pets and stuff.
Yeah.
But what are 3 things, material or non-material, that are most important to you?
Okay, well, yeah. As you say, family. I mean, I've got a big family of my
Mhm.
own and an extended, massive family
Mhm.
beyond, which are all extremely important. That is by far, obviously, the most important thing. So you always would say family naturally, but I mean, my family is awesome, and I, I hold them very dear.
Mm.
My health. I've been through phases of poor health. I've been stuck in bed for 6 months or 3 months with a broken neck, and I've had my ankle put together multiple times. But I'm still doing my best to stay fit and be healthy. And I've uh,
Mm.
I've had those checkups where they say, okay, what's your real age? Where they scan you and they send you to scary checkups. And I'm effectively, according to my physician, the best doctor in Cape Town, apparently, 25. So my body is in a 25-year-old state. So I'm happy with that. I'm very pleased about
Amazing.
that.
Yeah, so that's your biological age as opposed to your chronological age.
Correct. So
Yeah.
I'm great. My Discovery Health disagrees, but what do they know?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but yeah, look, my health is definitely the most important. But I mean, as I joke around, but I mean it's true. I'm not young, and
mm,
I often bump into guys that I was in school with and all the rest of it, and things haven't perhaps gone as well for them, or they haven't looked
mhm,
after themselves. Some of them look like the day they left school, if not fitter.
mhm,
But you can see it happens, and you do age. Um, and being on top of that, I mean, it's been important. It's been an important journey. I definitely could do better at that, to be honest. To run up a mountain every now and again and take it in,
yeah,
especially if you're in the industry we're in. We're always in front of a PC and
yeah,
on planes and all sorts of things. I spend a lot of time in the air.
mhm.
Um, yeah. You need a third, do you?
Like Taylor Swift.
Um, like Taylor Swift. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Cutting
Uh,
that out, that was lame.
She's getting a lot of
Uh,
flack for flying around in a private jet. So why
I
not?
know.
Give us some
It's just
shit.
been like it's spiraled out of control. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how hard her eyes must roll back into her skull every time she hears that. It's just like,
Yeah,
okay,
she's just
okay, we
like
get it. We get it. Um, Look, I'd say my last thing is my freedom, my flexibility, not physically, But my flexibility in my life, I've
Mm-hmm.
worked at a job in the past where I worked for 20 hours a day, getting stuff out. I've worked many times where I didn't sleep for 2 days because you have a deadline and you had to get software out or get something installed, or rolling out big projects, or being at an office. I mean, you're in finance, it's obviously a big deal. You're looking after other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to be sat at the desk at 7:30, not because you had to, because if you didn't, there was going to be a problem that you wouldn't be able to deal with. And you would leave at 7 p.m. And you'd wake up at 3 a.m. when the American markets open, if you've got a position on. So you're sleeping for like 3 hours at a time and waking up in stress and looking at it, and going to work and you're stressed. And a lot of the time we did nothing, don't get me wrong, but you can't leave. I can't go pick my kids up from school. I can't go watch them play a basketball match or go watch a rugby match. It's that ability to be flexible. Now these days, I schedule my meetings around my lifestyle almost. If I need to take my dog for a walk, I do. If I feel like I need to go run up the mountain and just get some fresh air because I know it's going to be a long day the next couple of days, or whatever the case is, I can. So that is definitely the most valuable thing that I have at this point, is uh, my own time, my ability to make decisions and play games if I want to, or not. So it's one of those things that I think is undervalued, is that ability to have your own time, your own choices, your own freedom. I sound like Braveheart.
Yeah. Good speech. Yeah, I mean, control of your time, flexibility in your time, that's massive. Huge.
Yeah. Once you've lost it, you understand the value of it, put it that way.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some trivia questions. I haven't sent these to you, so we'll see how you do.
I can't Google it under the table. Okay.
No, I'll know if you do.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna skip a couple of them, but I just googled these. Maybe you've seen this website if you're into trivia. I'm not sure.
Not really.
Okay, what were you gonna say there?
Chloe makes a complete fool of Flea. That'll be the headline.
Exciting.
Yeah. Warren knows fuck all.
Flashing news. Wow, breaking news.
Yeah.
Warren doesn't know trivia. I asked Engine Mode. I'm sure you know Engine Mode 11.
Engine Mode 11?
He F1 journalist. Yeah, I interviewed. He was actually my first interview. I don't know why he agreed to do it, but thank you, Dan. I asked him some South African trivia, and that was hilarious.
Okay.
Hilarious. Because he's
Don't ask me British trivia.
No. Okay. I don't know.
Well, let's see what you got for me. Hit me.
Okay. What occasion corresponds to the longest day of the year? It's weirdly phrased, but I'm gonna give
Summer
it to you
solstice?
anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what is the largest country in the world?
Largest country in the world? China or Russia? It's one, they're kind of next to each other. One of those two. You have to choose one. It's Russia. I'll probably go with. Yeah. Thank
you. Okay, according to Guinness World Records, what is the best-selling book of all time?
The Bible.
Yeah.
Surely.
Correct. Your camera has gone fuzzy there. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I was cheering myself because I'm doing well. I get a gold star.
Okay, there we go. We're back. What is the only food that can never go bad?
Honey.
Oh, you're doing well. Okay. What was the first animal to be cloned?
Sheep. Dolly.
Correct. Okay, what is the name?
I was around when these things are happening.
Yeah, I remember it as well, though. I remember learning about it in science.
I remember it on the fucking news before they put it into
Oh,
science books.
really?
Yes.
Dolly, yeah. That's a
Dolly the sheep.
Pandora's box, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the name of the pet dinosaur on the TV cartoon The Flintstones?
Barney. Dino. Is it Dino?
Yes, Dino. Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, I need to give you a harder one. This is way too easy. I think that's 6 or 7.
Okay.
Um,
Hit me.
what is Prince Harry's official first name?
Harry has an official name? It's not Harry? Oh, like his title. Like the
No,
Duke of some joint.
no, his
Okay, I told
name.
you, don't ask me anything about these British monarch people. I don't care about them. Prince Harry has
I didn't know
a
this
name other
either.
than Harry? Is this a trick question?
Yeah.
What is Prince Harry's name?
No,
It's Harry.
no. It's Henry.
Henry?
Yeah.
Why do they call
I
him
didn't know
Harry?
this either. I don't know. It's weird, hey.
Okay. People can start. Yeah, that's very odd. I did not know that. Okay. You Henry.
Yeah,
Harry is not Harry, he's
yeah,
Henry.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Learn
Okay,
something.
in the spirit of British trivia,
Okay. Here we
this
go
isn't
again.
here, but I learned this like yesterday.
Okay.
What is Prince Harry's last name?
That I was thinking that the other day. What are these guys' actual last name? I have no idea. This is Harry. Henry,
Yeah,
actually.
it's just Henry. They don't
Just
have
fucking
last
Henry.
names.
They don't
They
have
don't
one,
have
yeah.
surnames.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How interesting.
So I was kind of right there because I said they just
Yeah.
don't have one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, which branch of the US Armed Forces uses the slogan, "It's not just a job, it's an adventure"?
Okay. I have no idea. I mean, there's branches. There's the Navy SEALs, which kind of would be the one that you would go with because it's the best known. But I mean, sure, I'm gonna go with the SEALs. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
Navy. So I don't know, is the Navy and the Navy SEALs, are the Navy SEALs a branch of the Navy, right? Yeah, they like
Yeah,
a
I think the SEALs are like
special
the
forces Navy.
the bad motherfuckers. They're the ones.
Yeah, they
They
hectic. They
yeah, if they
hectic.
rock up, you're pretty much done for. So
The
uh,
cool
yeah,
guys.
yeah. If you're into that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. Oh, I think it's so cool.
Have you ever met those guys? They're tough as nails. Oh my god.
No, I
It's
don't think I've
insane.
met a Navy SEAL, no.
I've met the special forces guys here, and they are a different breed of human. So
Really?
yeah, it's
So
very impressive.
interesting.
That's actually kind of where CrossFit started off. Not to go back there, but
Yeah,
it's kind of all with
military
special forces
based.
guys and military based stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you can
brilliant.
see if you do that all
Super
the time, you're
interesting.
gonna be tough as nails.
Yeah. um, okay, what is an 8-sided shape called?
An octagon.
Yeah. Who is Barbie's little sister?
Yeah, I'm afraid you got me there. I had no idea she had a sister. Pass.
Skipper.
Skipper.
Does
Okay.
it ring a bell at all?
Absolutely not.
No.
I don't mean to
Okay.
stereotype, but Barbie's. I didn't play with them much. It was a brief
Yeah,
phase
I
in my
mean,
life.
I didn't know that, so
Is it in the movie?
okay.
I know there's a movie. There's a Barbie movie, right?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it that much. I feel like that's probably the wrong thing to say, but I didn't really get the hype, to be honest with you.
I'll watch it tonight and let you know.
Yeah, let me know. Oppenheimer was interesting though. That was
Okay.
very good. Yeah, have you seen Oppenheimer?
I haven't. It's on my list of things to do.
Ah, it's good. It's really good.
Okay. I do enjoy that
Okay.
actor. Is it Cillian Murphy or something? I think his name.
Yeah, Killian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. Cillian. Okay.
Yeah,
I obviously
yeah.
said it wrong
Yeah,
because I've only read the net.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, last question. The unicorn is the national animal of which country?
The national. I have absolutely no. Do they know it's a make believe thing?
I
I
think they
suppose it's
might
more
know.
believable than a giraffe, though, right? Like,
Yeah, giraffes are super weird.
yeah, it's like a horse, a spotted horse with a 10-foot neck. is kind of more believable than a horse with a throat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me think. It's not Monaco. It'll be some kind of, I'm assuming, European. Is it a European country?
Uh,
Like the Asian side of Europe?
no.
Fuck, I don't know. I have no fucking idea. Is my final answer, Your Honor. Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland.
Oh my god,
Didn't
I
know
had
that
no idea.
either. Yeah,
Okay,
didn't know.
I've learned something. I don't know many
Yeah.
Scottish people, but I'll have a word with them and ask them what's
Their
up.
accents are so thick. Do you
I,
ever like hear Scottish English and you're just like, is that English?
what is it? What is it called? Who does Gaelic and all those things? Who are those?
Gaelic, sure, now you're testing me. Gaelic is like Irish, Scottish.
Okay,
Or is it just Scottish? Oof, I don't know.
I don't know. It's one. That's one
Someone
you can
tell
leave in the
us.
comments. Yeah, someone will tell us in the comments. Like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
Gaelic. Yeah, click the notification bell.
Yeah.
Warren, thank you so much for chatting with me. It's always insightful. Really cool to get to know your story a little bit better. I know there are people looking forward to hearing it as well. So I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure, and thanks for asking unusual questions.
You did really well.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Do I
pause
get
it
a
there.
gold star? I'll go find one.